it's Becky from Lessons by the Lake. Today I want to talk to you about teaching visualizing as a reading strategy. So it's such a fun, powerful reading strategy. It's one of my favorites to teach. So students might be reading a book and they'd be imagining a character walking along a farm, and then all of a sudden they fall in a volcano. Clearly some details in the text went wrong when they were trying to visualize it. So it's really important to help students notice those important details that show the setting and what the character's moods are, and just really help you imagine and be in that text so that they're fully understanding what's happening in the book. So we want them to experience the text. When they're reading about someone baking an apple pie, we don't want them just to think that. We want them to think about what the apple pie smells like, what it tastes like. We want them to be in the book with the characters, experiencing all of this right there with them. So visualizing is a kind of an abstract reading strategy, but I like to teach it in a concrete way. So I like to start off with using photos. So I give my students some different pictures. I usually use some clip art and I put them in partners, and I have one student look at the picture and explain what they see, and the other student has to draw what they hear. Then they compare them. That leads to a lot of great discussions about how were little details in the picture they probably didn't think to notice. And it really helps draw them into every little detail and why that's important and why that truly makes the picture. And then we talk about how that's true in the text. If you're not noticing every little detail and picking up on the sunset in the picture that sets the mood for what's going on in that event, we're not experiencing everything that the author wanted us to. So that's a fun activity to do. I love doing concrete activities with my students. So my reading block is a shared reading. It's 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning of the reading block. Then we go into reading centers. So at the beginning of that shared reading, just for a minute or two, we do a concrete activity like the one I just explained. It helps get the kids excited, shows them how we use these reading strategies outside of school and why they're important, and just gets them in the zone to start learning. Then we use the reading strategies as part of our shared reading. So in the shared reading, I have a mentor text. It's usually a picture book that I'm modeling for the students. So as I'm reading, I stop and I am noticing different details. So I use characters called the comprehension crew to teach reading strategies. So for visualizing, we have Victor, the visualizer. He's a painter. So all the characters have a profession and a prop and a gesture and a theme song that all go along to support this reading strategy and helping students truly understand it and have a meaningful interaction with the reading strategy to make a lasting impact on them, that they'll be able to use the reading strategy independently over and over again. So while I'm reading the book, and when I notice those sensory details, I hold up a paintbrush, just like Victor has, and I'm talking about what I can smell because of those details, what I can hear because of the details in the book. And then some pages I read the text and I let students pass around the paintbrush and they talk about what they imagined in their mind. So Victor has a sentence frame. I can see/imagine because. That because is huge. Because students have a great imagination. They're amazing at seeing things in their head and their creativity. But we want to know what in that text helped them visualize. We really want to narrow in on those sensory details and those descriptive writing that helped us visualize the different things. So the concrete experience of interacting with the text and holding the paintbrush and painting in the air while you talk, it really helps them to internalize and understand what this reading strategy means. So then when they go on to their reading centers and they're reading their text, they can pick out the clues in their text and what they're able to imagine because of that. Or they're able to read the text and see, hear, taste, and smell all from the descriptions that are given to them. So Victor the Visualizer pack has tons of things in it. It has task cards, flip books, graphic organizers, anchor charts, but it also has some passages where the students are reading a paragraph, and then from this paragraph picking out what they can smell, taste, hear, feel, and see. We really want students reading with all of their senses. So they're truly experiencing and being part of the book and being in there with the characters, having these moments happen to them. It's really going to invest them deeper in the text and make them better, stronger readers. There's also activities that they're highlighting in a color what parts of the text specifically help them visualize what happens. So they're really picking out those words. This also really helps with their writing. We can use a lot of this, and we're talking about their details and their description in their writing. Talk a lot about how you're helping your reader visualize. So when you're teaching visualizing, think about what kind of concrete experiences can you provide your students to help them really understand it and be able to apply it when they're reading themselves. So if you want to know more about Victor the Visualizer, I'll put a link below if you want to read about him or about the other comprehension crew, or you can send me an email. I'm happy to help you get started, but I hope this gives you some ideas for how you can teach visualizing in your classroom and some things to talk about with your students while you have that interactive read aloud time and you're really engaging in the text with them. So if there's anything I can do to help you out, please let me know, and thank you for stopping by.